The Enigma of the Holy Grail, a journey into the unknown. This is a journey that will take us through the centuries, exploring legends, myths, and history itself. Friends of the mysterious, are you ready for an adventure? An adventure that will take us to the darkest and most fascinating corners of human history. We are going to delve into a puzzle that has fascinated people for centuries, the Holy Grail. This mythical object has been the center of countless stories and theories. Just by mentioning it, we think of knights, kings, and holy relics. But what is behind these images? What secrets do they hide? But what is the Grail really? Is it a physical object, a spiritual symbol, or perhaps something more? The answer is not simple. Something real, or an idea with a deeper meaning. Throughout history, the Grail has been interpreted in many different ways. Come with me, and together we will uncover this age-old mystery. We will explore ancient texts, visit historical sites, and talk to experts. The search for the Holy Grail takes us on a journey through history, myths, and faith. Each step brings us closer to understanding its true meaning. From the misty lands of ancient Britain to the monasteries of the Middle Ages, the Grail has fascinated and generated controversy. It has been sought after by kings, knights, and adventurers. Its power is said to be enormous, capable of healing, giving eternal life, or even connecting with God. But what is it really? It remains a mystery. Join us on this journey, and perhaps together we can unravel the enigma of the Holy Grail. The eternal fascination. What makes the Grail so special? Why has this thing, real or imagined, captured our imagination for so long? From Arthurian legends to modern movies, the Grail has been a symbol of mystery and power. The answer perhaps lies in who we are as people. We are drawn to mysteries and stories that promise profound revelations. We always want to know what lies beyond, what we don't understand. This desire to explore the unknown is a fundamental part of human nature. The Grail represents that desire, that search for something greater than ourselves. It is a symbol of the search for truth and meaning in our lives. For some, the Grail is the cup that Jesus used at the Last Supper, filled with sacred power. This object becomes a tangible link to the divine. For others, it is a way of talking about spiritual enlightenment, the wisdom or perfection that we never reach. It is a metaphor for our inner journey towards understanding and peace. Whatever it may be, the Grail reminds us that there is always something more to seek, something that pushes us forward. It inspires us to keep exploring, to not settle for what we already know, and to always seek a higher purpose in our lives. The Sacred Chalice and Beyond. Interpretations through time. Throughout the centuries, the Holy Grail has captured the imagination of many cultures, transforming and adapting to the beliefs and values of each era. The stories of the Grail have been passed down from parents to children, changing a little with each generation. Each storyteller adds their own touch, reflecting the concerns and hopes of their time. From the earliest accounts to modern versions, the Grail has been a symbol of mystery and power. In the Middle Ages, the Grail was associated with the blood of Christ, the fertility of the land, and the promise of eternal life. The knights and seekers of the time saw in the Grail a divine connection, a sacred object that could bestow blessings and prosperity. The quest for the Grail was in many ways a quest for salvation and redemption. Writers like Chrétien de Troyes and Wolfram von Eschenbach placed it in their stories of King Arthur, making it an important symbol of what the knights sought. In their stories, the Grail was not only an object of power, but also a test of courage and purity. The knights who sought it had to demonstrate their nobility and devotion. With the Renaissance, the Grail began to take on a more symbolic meaning, representing the pursuit of knowledge and truth. The thinkers of the time saw in the Grail a metaphor for enlightenment and discovery. The quest for the Grail became an intellectual pursuit, a journey towards understanding and wisdom. Some alchemists believed that the Grail was the philosopher's stone, which could transform the ordinary into something extraordinary. For them, the Grail represented the pinnacle of their studies, an object that could grant not only material wealth, but also a deep understanding of the universe. The quest for the Grail, in this context, was a quest for perfection and transcendence. Today, we continue to talk about the Grail, inspiring new ideas in art, books, and film. From adventure movies to fantasy novels, the Grail remains a powerful symbol of the unknown and the unattainable. Its legacy endures, reminding us that the search for something greater than ourselves is a fundamental part of the human experience. In search of the lost treasure, from kings to wandering knights, the search for the Holy Grail appears frequently in books and legends. From King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table to real people like King Philip IV of France, many have sought this mysterious treasure. Some wanted power, others wanted to be forgiven for their sins. But they all wanted to know what this mystery was. The story of the Fisher King, the guardian of the Grail, wounded and weak, is a good metaphor for what we seek as humans. The Grail represents the cure for our wounds, the answer to our deepest questions. But searching for it can be dangerous and requires sacrifices. In the Middle Ages, the Grail wasn't just a legend, but something very important for faith and the people. It appeared in paintings, sculptures, stained glass windows, and illustrated books. Cathedrals and monasteries became places where it was sought, and relics said to be connected to the Grail attracted pilgrims from everywhere. The Grail represented God's grace, the promise of salvation, and the connection between earth and heaven. Seeing it in medieval art reminds us of the power of faith and the fascination with mystery that people have always had. Even though the Middle Ages are over, the Grail is still with us. We see it in art, literature, and film, inspiring new ideas and fueling our imagination. Writers like Dan Brown and Umberto Eco have written about the myth of the Grail in their novels, raising new questions about what it is and what it means. Does the Grail really exist, waiting to be found in some faraway place? Or is it just an idea, a symbol of our own search for meaning and something greater than ourselves? Perhaps the answer is not in the object itself, but in the journey we take to find it. In the end, searching for the Grail is an inner journey. It makes us think about what we desire, what motivates us, and our place in the universe. What are we really looking for in life? Wealth, power, love, wisdom, inner peace. The Grail can represent any of these things, depending on who seeks it. The true power of the Grail lies in its ability to inspire us, to remind us that there is always something beyond what we see, something that calls us to keep searching, to keep growing. Searching for it is a never-ending journey, an opportunity to get to know ourselves and the world around us. The mystery of the Holy Grail lives on. Its history, full of enigmas and puzzling details, invites us to question, to investigate, and to form our own ideas. What does the Grail mean to you? Do you dare to join the search? Share your thoughts, your theories, and your own ideas about the myth of the Grail. The mystery continues.